What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. We are down here, honey. We're down here. It's Monday. We are here and we are relaxing and we're down here and we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Then we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. So let's talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They had I guess it was on Friday night, they had like a live tweet situation going on. And so I watched it then, but then you guys told me in the comments that it was down there on YouTube. So I was able to watch it again, the full episode. Because I watched it when they were tweeting live, but I didn't take any notes. I was like, dang, I'm going to watch it again. And then I don't think they're going to show it. Maybe they will show it this week right before the next. Because they typically do that, show the last one before the new one? I'm trying to think. No, they don't typically do that. Okay, anyway, so this is episode 3. And the episode was pretty good. Heather, let's see. They were at Heather's house. Oh yeah, they're getting ready for a baby shower. Heather has some of her employees. It's about 5 of them who are all pregnant and due at the same time, around the same time. So they're going to have a baby shower for them. And, Heather is basically on some, they're really trying to live this perfect life because we've gotten out of them that their religion touts the women to live or to appear to be living, everything is fine. It's perfect. Nothing's wrong. So she was like, I know they're ready to have this perfect little life and these perfect little children and these perfect little babies. Oh, that's what she said, later on. I'm kind of mixing it together, but so she's getting ready for that. So Jen Shah and the other girl comes over. The other girl, she's been there. She's been around them. They haven't really said her name. She hasn't really talked a lot, but she was at the table when Lisa and Whitney and Heather were going back and forth. She was sitting right next to Lisa, I think. And so she's been there. So we don't know who she is. Maybe she's trying to get on the show, but she's obviously somebody's friend because we've seen her several times. I don't know her name. She's kind of tall. She had on pink, right? So she was there at the house. So I don't know who she is. Maybe she's a cousin or something. So Heather said she's never been in love before. They asked her if she'd been in love. She said after 11 years of being married, her husband wanted a divorce. He said that she realized that she was curtailing her natural instinct to be this perfect person and to live this life that basically she needed to conform to what was going on within her culture and society. Like I said, I really like this season so far because it's just everything is something new to talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's just something new to talk about. Jen Shah came over Meredith's house. Now, did they end up where they left off on the other episode where what's her name was mad because of what Mary said at the party? Okay, anyways, so Jen Shah is over there at Meredith's house. She says she kind of relates to Meredith because both of their husbands are not home all the time. So she's like, when I used to get mad at him leaving, but now I just be like, I'm going over Meredith's house because her husband ain't at home anyway either. So she goes over there. She comes. Now, I really want to like Jen Shah. I think she's a hoot. But I don't like this idea that she feels like she has to take the scene every time she comes in the room. And it's not like an effortless type of energy. It's intentional. Like her intention is to walk into a room and have all of the eyes on her. To me, I can't really vibe with that. I'm here for the girl who walks in the room and with just who she is and commands attention. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for the girl who is intentionally looking for attention when she gets into the room. And that's what Jen Shah is giving me in every scene. And I hope that she sees that y'all might like it. I don't really care for it. I'm trying to like her, but it's too much. I feel like she feels like she needs to take the scene in every situation she's in. And that's going to get old quick for me. Just for me. She's doing these high kicks in the house. I didn't get that. I was like, high kicks? I don't understand what that is. But apparently she didn't have any underwear on. And Brooke said he saw her vagina. We saw things that we probably should have never seen. And my mom shouldn't be hanging around with people like that. I want to know what he means by people like that. But again, you're living in Utah. You have to abide by this idea of perfection. So, you know, I mean, and he's gay, so he's like, what is this? I'm uncomfortable by all this display. You know, I don't know what he meant by people like Jen. I'm not sure, but they looked uncomfortable. It looked like a lot of the scene was cut, so I'm not sure what the fuck Jen was trying to do to come in there to steal the scene and to make a scene out of everything. It's no telling what she was doing, but apparently the children were not happy with it. They were uncomfortable. It was very awkward. The whole situation looked awkward. I didn't understand what was going on. It looks like a lot was cut out of that. Lisa and her scratchy voice, she reminds me so much of Robin Anton, the creator of the Pussycat Dolls. Y'all know who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go Google Robin Anton. She gives me Lisa, what's her name? Lisa Barlow vibes. That's what she gives me. They don't look exactly alike. She just gives me the vibes. So she's taking her son to, you know, teach him how to drive. It's cute or whatever, normal, whatever stuff, right? So Mary and Meredith go and they're having dinner. And you know what? I was thinking about Meredith's tagline where she says something about jealousy being a disease. And then instead of just coming in with the punchline of that, you know, of that little saying, you know, jealousy is a disease, get well soon, bitch. Her intro is very like, to which I say, girl, relax, okay? To which I say, get well soon. No, I'm like, her intro should have been, bitch, jealousy is a disease. Get well soon, bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they have to keep that. To which I say, girl, shut up. So they sitting there having a conversation, and Mary is telling her that her son is really liking this girl and it's distracting him, and you know, just the normal shit. That's this normal life journey steps for teenagers, okay? Boys and girls, okay? She wants to maintain that her life had to be perfect. Everything had to be perfect. Everybody's lives had to be perfect. And what she was saying was that if you've been married 20 years, this is what Mary was saying, if you've been married 20 something years, it ain't perfect. Your life is not a 9. Your happiness level is not a 9. So they're kind of, I guess, speaking about just the culture in Utah where everybody has to appear perfect. I don't think it's just Utah. I think that's like really everywhere. I mean, look at Instagram. And Wesley Snipes said it perfect. People are not going to post their failures. They're only going to show you the success of whatever they deem is successful. They're only going to do that. So that's what everybody's giving. This idea that everything is fine, everything is perfect. People are not fucking out here dying and shit. Like, people want to exhibit the finished product. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, saying that your marriage is perfect after 20 years and your happiness level is on a 9, it's not realistic. It's not. And I agree with Mary. You can't be married. You can't be with somebody 20 years and the shit is all hunky-dory. No, it's not going like that. So she basically saying that her and the relationship with Robert Sr. is more of a partnership. And that to me would make more sense if there wasn't a son involved, if you didn't have a child with him. And then I was telling Diva the other day that, like, I know y'all know the whole little backstory of Mary, but I'm just going off of what I'm seeing here. And it seems like he was younger than the grandmother. Like, the grandmother married a young man, And maybe she did want that man to be with Mary's mother. And maybe I don't know. This is me going off of what I don't know that y'all know about that family. Because y'all know a lot. And it's very interesting. All this thing surrounding Mary's story is very, very interesting. But her saying that she's in a partnership with Robert, she's like, there's beauty in my mess. I inherited everything. And I'm glad she has enough awareness and she's not acting like everything is okay. You know, like somebody like Phaedra Parks would be involved in something like as weird as this and will act like nothing's wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of energy. But I'm glad that Mary is like, girl, this shit is weird. I get it. I acted like I was on my period for a whole 2 weeks because this shit is weird as hell. Yeah, he was her step-grandfather, but it seems like he was younger than the grandmother even. Like, when I was looking at the picture, I was like, he looks hella young, and he still looks like he's probably in his 60s or something. Like, he doesn't look old. He looks like a young person still to me. I mean, he's, you know, a little out, his shape is a little older, like a man of age, but you know, he doesn't look like this old ass, broke down ass man that was already her grandmother's age when she married him. You know what I mean? I don't know, whatever. So she's like, she's very glad that she did it. She's saying that the relationship with her mother is bad. It happened over money around the time she was 19 years old. She basically detached from everyone, and she agrees to come. Meredith agrees to go to the church with her, with Whitney and Ramon. What is Whitney's dad's name? He looks like he's in the Ramones, so we're going to call him Ramon. Meredith is talking about Brooks taking a semester off to kind of support his mother during the separation between her and Seth. And he explains to her in the scene that he was uncomfortable with Jen, her name, I don't know if her name is Jennifer, with Jen. And Jen wants a sleepover, and he was like, no, we don't have time for a sleepover. You need to cancel the sleepover. So she was like, okay, I'll cancel it. So then Mary and Robert Sr. are in a scene, Miss Mary, and they're having like their little conversation back and forth. It didn't seem awkward or anything like that. Mary seems like, I like Mary. I like Mary because she seems like quirky, and I was trying to describe her voice the other day. It's like scratchy. She seems like she's like trembling to like talk, but then she's like very scratchy, but then her voice elevates now and then. I don't know if because she does all that screaming in church why her voice is so scratchy, but Lisa also has a scratchy voice, and I feel like Meredith has a scratchy voice too. I'm like, what are y'all doing all this hollering and screaming? But anyway, she tells her son that her and Robert are going back and forth talking about who's spoiled and you a spoiled brat and all this other stuff. They just seem to be regular, sitting in the kitchen or whatever. Here comes the son. She talks about how much she loves her son, and there's a connection there. We don't need to be next to each other. I know that my son and I have a special bond and a special connection. And she tells him, basically threatens him with boarding school. You can go to boarding school because you're not doing well in the school. He was like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere without my girlfriend. And he was like, oh, and y'all, she was like, okay, so we come second. But you know how it is. And that's the thing that I don't understand adults. It's almost like you forget. It's like, I don't know, like, you get amnesia. I don't ever want to be in a position as an adult to forget my 17-year-old self and how I was at 17 years old. I don't ever want to forget that, because then it makes you not relate to other 17-year-olds who are having similar life experiences. If you forget that person, you're not going to be able to relate to the other generation coming up. I don't ever want to get to that space. Anyway, so when they was talking, honey, the dad, he started the blender. I was like, girl, he is so rude. Why would he start the blender? And the blender seemed to be a theme in this episode, because Meredith was making drinks and she started the blender without the top on it, and drinks was everywhere. Anyway, so he was like, I'm not going nowhere without y'all or my girlfriend. So she was like, well, think about it or whatever. So she's basically threatening him with boarding school if he don't get his shit together and stop being so focused on these girls. Whitney and her dad, she talks about going to, they're on their way to Mary's church, and she says she's been her father's only support system. So I guess in this faith you know, they turned him away because they felt like his addiction is from his choices and that it's not a mental illness. Talked about Mary. Mary was in there preaching, and it was actually people in there crying and stuff like that. Mary was hollering and screaming. I don't really know what she said. I was just like, you know, we have our visitors here. But the people were in the audience, in the congregation, they were crying. So, you know, anybody could, something that doesn't move me might move somebody else. And we weren't there, and it was all chopped up. So whatever, honey. As long as it helps, if it's helping the man, if it's going to help the dad, Ramon, if it's going to help him, more power to him, okay? Meredith calls Jen Shaw, cancels. Jen is upset about it, right? So Jen is upset because Meredith has been doing, you know, several little things that she doesn't agree with. And one of them is talking to Mary. This is what I'm talking about. Like, Jen, you're doing the most. Like, at the party, you was doing the most, arguing because Mary didn't say nothing about your family. She did not disrespect your family by saying that you smell like a hospital. In fact, you are a little insensitive to her. Whatever she says, I smell something and it smells like hospital, and it triggers me and it takes me to a dark place for whatever reason. If she had some glands removed, or she was just on the operating table getting work done. The fact of the matter is, it makes her, and even when she was talking about it, you could see that she was like grossed out about it, just thinking about it. Now, you come from the hospital. Yeah, your aunt's legs got amputated. She didn't say nothing about your aunt. But then in the interview, she did kind of say, what you tell her? It's not my fault your aunt's legs got amputated. And the juxtaposition that Mary is a preacher and she was talking like that. I don't think that the girl was disrespecting your family, but you're doing the most, like, you're doing the most in every scene, and I hope that changes. Anyways, so they have the baby shower. Whitney shows up. Jen shows up. They talk about the love and support, and Heather says, I just want my kids to be able to decide what faith they want to follow when they get, or whatever they want to believe when they get older. It's nothing that I'm going to beat them in the head with. I think a lot of, that's to each his own. I'm not going to even get into that. To each his own. So they talked about having the ski day and how fun it was. And Whitney was saying, you know, like, I really want to start a clean slate with Lisa. Jen goes, wait a minute. Is Mary Cosby, she called the lady by her whole fucking name, Mary M. Cosby. Is Mary M. Cosby coming to this 1920s party? And she was like, yeah, I like Mary. Like, what's the problem? She was like, girl, she's disrespecting my family, just doing the most. And then even Heather was like, bitch, I thought we was past this. Like, the girl, and to me, even Mary sincerely, I don't know, sincerely, I'm gonna just say, she apologized, right? She apologized to the girl, like, I really didn't mean to hurt you by that comment, but this is something that affects me, and you came in smelling like a hospital. I was not disrespecting your aunt. I know you might feel a certain way, but girl, you smell like a hospital. Anyway, whatever, child. So she was like, so what's the problem? See, this is how it doesn't match, Jen. You have a problem with Mary, and then when Heather asks you about it, you say, I don't give a fuck, she's irrelevant. So which is it? Because if she was irrelevant, you wouldn't care about her coming on this party, or to this 1920s party, or whatever, if she was truly irrelevant. So it just seems like you're trying to create conflict where it doesn't need to be, and just have the natural conflict, please. Just like, don't create it. And I know that you want to do that because this is a show and you want to be a fan favorite and all that other stuff, but you're doing the most. And to me, it's not, I want to like Jen, but she's doing the most. I love that she comes through dressed and everything like that, but I don't want you to have to steal the scene. Like the scene in the bar when they were doing the 1920s prohibition party. Your dress stole the scene, but it stole it in a very awkward way because you couldn't get through because you had a train. Like, if you just came through with the dress without the train and just pushed through like, bitch, I'm here, that would have been different than you coming through with this awkward train trying to move around and trying to look cute at the same time. It looks silly to me, but whatever. Don't attack my family. Anyways, so when Whitney says that we're going to Mary's church, Jen gets upset. Meredith is coming too. She gets even more upset. And then she says, I'm not telling Meredith to choose friends, but bitch, vote. You are telling her to choose friends. That's how old are we here, down here on this show in the snow? How old are we, honey? We are not in grade school. Like, literally, that is a grade school behavior. But little girls learn how to relate to each other in grade school, and if the behavior isn't corrected, they take it into their adult relationships. It's just how it goes. He said, bitch, vote. Jen Shaw comes out to the party. She looks really nice. The prohibition party. Meredith came in them bell bottoms, looking a mess, in a suit. I don't know, like, loosen up, girl. You would think, like, this woman is potentially cheating on her husband. Why are you so pent up? Like, relax, bitch. If you really cheating on your husband, relax. I don't know how that correlates. Just roll with it for right now, okay? Lisa said that I was trying to bring decadence. They were trying to bring depression. They looked all right. Then makes her entrance. It was just awkward. She sees Meredith talking to Mary, and she doesn't like it. So we're going to see how that's going to turn out or whatever. What did you guys think about the episode? I thought it was cool. I really like the new stories. I love the new stories. I don't want to get on fucking Real Housewives of Atlanta and still be talking about Portia and Dennis. Or Todd and Joyce. Like, we tired of that. Like, we need some new shit to talk about. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. We're coming back to talk about Potomac. Peace.